Damien Wolfe. A name whispered in hushed tones, a figure of envy and desire. He moved with the grace of a panther, his smile captivating, his eyes holding a depth that seemed to promise the world. But beneath the surface, a darkness lurked. Damien was a hunter, his prey, the lonely and vulnerable hearts of wealthy women. He saw their loneliness as a silent echo, their wealth a shimmering prize. Each smile, each touch, a calculated move in his game of seduction. He wove tales of shared passions, of a love destined to be. And the women, blinded by his charm and the allure of a life they craved, fell willingly into his web. His methods were subtle, refined. He'd appear at charity events, his presence radiating charisma and success. He'd engage them in conversations, listening intently, mirroring their interests, becoming their confidant. He knew what they yearned for: companionship, love, a fairy tale escape from their gilded cages. He showered them with lavish gifts, whisked them away on romantic getaways, each gesture meticulously crafted to deepen their infatuation. He became their everything, their lover, their best friend, their confidant. He painted a world of shared dreams, of a future bathed in the warm glow of their fabricated love story. They believed they'd found their soulmate, their knight in shining armor. They poured their hearts out, revealing their deepest secrets, their vulnerabilities laid bare before him. And he, the consummate actor, responded with carefully crafted empathy, solidifying the illusion of their shared connection. The women, intoxicated by the illusion, readily surrendered their trust, their hearts, and often their fortunes. They were blinded by the dazzling facade, oblivious to the truth that lurked beneath Damien's charming exterior. They were pawns in his game, their lives a stage for his elaborate performance. But even the most meticulously constructed lies can crumble. As Damien juggled his conquests, inconsistencies began to surface. A missed phone call here, a forgotten detail there, small cracks in his carefully constructed facade. Suspicions arose, whispers turned to doubts. The women, once so blinded by love, started to see the inconsistencies, the carefully curated persona beginning to slip. Their fairy tale was starting to unravel, the truth peeking through the carefully woven tapestry of lies. The more Damien struggled to maintain his charade, the more entangled he became in his own web of deceit. The women began comparing notes, sharing their suspicions, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place. His carefully constructed world began to crumble around him, the walls closing in, the love, the adoration in their eyes slowly morphing into suspicion, then anger, and finally cold, hard betrayal. His time was running out, his carefully crafted empire of lies on the verge of collapse. The women, their hearts shattered, their trust broken, vowed to seek justice. They joined forces, pooling their resources, their pain fueling their determination to expose him for the fraud he truly was. The hunter was about to become the hunted. No more whispered rumors, no more hiding in the shadows. They would drag his secrets into the light, ensuring he could never hurt another woman again. The consequences of his actions were about to catch up with him, the price of his deceit a heavy one to pay. The twist of the knife came from the most unexpected source, his own heart. In a cruel irony, Damien found himself falling for one of his marks, a woman named Isabella. Her intelligence, her wit, her genuine warmth chipped away at the walls he'd so carefully erected around himself. For the first time he felt a pang of guilt, a flicker of remorse for the pain he'd inflicted. He'd become ensnared in his own trap, his carefully constructed world of manipulation collapsing under the weight of genuine emotion. He was losing control, his carefully crafted facade crumbling as he grappled with the unfamiliar stirrings of his own conscience. The women, led by Isabella, who had seen through his facade and into his heart, exposed him. Evidence of his deceit was presented, his carefully constructed world collapsing around him like a house of cards. The hunter had become the hunted, his own tactics used against him. He watched, his heart a knot of regret and burgeoning love for Isabella, as the life he'd built on lies crumbled before his eyes. His charm, his wealth, his carefully crafted persona all stripped away, leaving him bare and exposed, facing the consequences of his actions. In the end, Damien was left with nothing but the echoes of the women he'd hurt, their pain a constant reminder of the man he'd been. his wealth, his freedom, all gone. He was left to face the consequences of his actions, the love he'd exploited, the trust he'd shattered. The seductive con man, the master manipulator, was no more. Left in his place was a shell of a man, forever haunted by the wreckage of his own making. He was left to face the truth that no amount of wealth, no amount of charm could erase the indelible mark of his deceit. He was trapped, not in a gilded cage of his own making, but in the prison of his own conscience.